A favorite of supermarket shelves, whole wheat bread is made from flour that is in some part milled from whole grains. Popular for their nutritional value, whole grains are a source of several nutrients, dietary fiber among them. Supermarket bread is fine, but nothing can compare to a loaf of fresh, warm, homemade bread. In this video, I'll show you how to easily make your own loaf of whole wheat with a honey twist. Welcome to Bread with Me. Ready, set, go. This recipe makes 2 loaves. Let's get started with a small bowl. Empty 2 packets of active dry yeast, that's 4.5 teaspoons, into the bowl. Next, fill your measuring cup with 1/4 cup of warm water. If you have a kitchen thermometer, the temperature should be between 105 and 115 degrees Fahrenheit. If you don't have a thermometer, the water should feel about body temperature. Pour the warm water onto the active dry yeast and mix well. Yeast is a living single-cell organism. Simple organisms like yeast need only a few things to sustain life: water, glucose, and warmth. We're going to wake up the yeast now from its dormant state by mixing it with the warm water. Make sure you mix well and that all of the yeast is dissolved. For this bread, the glucose we're going to use is found in one of our main ingredients, honey. Pour 1/2 cup of honey into a large mixing bowl. Next, we add 1/4 cup of butter. Next, 3 teaspoons of salt. Now we add some very warm water to help dissolve these ingredients into a solution. This water should be anywhere from 115 to 125 degrees Fahrenheit. Great. Mix these ingredients until they are all dissolved. This liquid is about to become our dough. I'm using a stand mixer here, but if you're mixing your dough by hand, just take it slow. Even with my mixer, I'm taking these next steps slowly. Let's turn our liquid base into a dough by adding flour. In this recipe, we'll use 2 types of flour, whole wheat flour and all-purpose flour. The amount of flour you use can vary a bit here. We'll add flour until we get a good consistency in the dough. All in all, aim to use 4.5 cups of whole wheat flour and 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Let's take a second to scrape off the flour from the sides of the bowl here, just to make sure our dough is smooth and consistent. After all, a good dough makes a good bread. Now it's time to add our dissolved yeast that we set aside earlier. It's time to begin leavening our dough. Leavening just means that we're going to add gas to our dough to make it fluffy. The yeast is going to do that for us here. The little yeast organisms are going to start munching on the glucose in our honey and start producing precious carbon dioxide. Keep adding flour until your dough starts to pull away from the walls of the bowl, like this. Now it's time to knead the dough. Get your kneading hands warm, folks. There's no wrong way to do this, just get to work. Our dough is still a bit too moist, so we'll add another 1/2 cup or so of all-purpose flour. If you've made it this far and I've earned it, make sure to slap the like button. Now it's time to proof the dough. Grease a large bowl. I'm using non-stick spray here. Make sure you get all sides of the dough greased up. Cover your dough with a cloth and place it in a warm place. Here's a trick. Turn your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 minute and then turn it back off. The sweet spot for proofing is 80 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Let your dough proof for half hour and take a well-deserved break. And we're back. Grease 2 loaf pans well and set them aside. Time to get to work on our dough. Push down gently with your fist to deflate the dough. Let's split it as evenly as possible into 2 parts. Now we'll get our dough ready for the final steps. Roll the dough tightly into a loaf-shaped clump. Technique is everything here. We want to get a crease in the dough at the bottom, kind of like a rolled up armadillo. We'll proof our dough one last time, so put it back in a warm place for 30 to 45 minutes. And we're back. The dough has now doubled in size and it's ready for our bake. There are 2 parts to this bake to make sure the bread is cooked evenly. For a half hour, we'll bake the bread at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we'll decrease the temperature to 350 for an additional 10 to 15 minutes, or until the bread is the correct color and sounds hollow. Great, our bread is ready. Quickly take the bread out of the pans and allow it to cool. It's best to use a rack so cool air can get underneath. Your bread should sound like this when tapped. We'll let it cool for about a half hour. Since it's still warm on the inside, the bread is technically still baking. Now it's time to sit back and enjoy our creation. This honey whole wheat works great as a sandwich. It goes great with some Nutella spread. It also works great with peanut butter. As always, bread is best enjoyed when you share it with the ones you love. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll consider subscribing for weekly bread videos. Don't forget to tag me on Instagram if you use this recipe. Bread you later.